44% of all people are doing this when making offers on homes. Are you? So that was my hook. It probably sounds pretty compelling. You might be drawn in here. So what is this thing that 44% of people are doing that you may or may not even know about? It's seller's concessions. And what essentially a seller concession is it's the seller of the home, the builder, whoever it is, agreeing to concede or to cover some of the money for you. So they're agreeing to pay for some of your stuff for you on their behalf out of their proceeds of the home. Why does this matter? Why does it work? What do you need to know? So thing number one, where I think it becomes super helpful in is just freeing up cash flow. So if you short on cash, you need a little bit more cash. If you go in and you ask for like a $5,000 concession, puts $5,000 in your pocket, rainy day fund, pays for trash cans, all kinds of stuff once you get into your house. And having $5,000 extra in your bank account to me means a lot more maybe than $25 in a monthly payment. So that's about what it is. If rates are in the sixes, $5,000 would cost you about $25 more in interest. So not the end of the day, and an easy thing, right? If you're short on cash, this is a no-brainer. The other thing, roughly 44% of all people today are actually doing this. So across the country, varies by region, but about 44% of all transactions today have some form of a concession. Another place that this becomes super handy. You go in and you have your inspection and something comes in and there's things that need to be fixed. Instead of going back and trying to renegotiate the price, ask for a concession. It accomplishes the same goal, gives you the money in your pocket to fix that thing. And I also believe from a psychology standpoint, if I'm selling my house, let's say for $500,000, and I get two offers. One offer is full price with a $5,000 concession. The other one is less than full price with like $495. The numbers are the same, but that full price anchor, even after the concession, just sounds better. So I think from a psychology standpoint, it works a little bit better. And then, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but builders are doing a lot with concessions to offer artificially lower rates in temporary buy downs to make their homes more attractive. So maybe even before you go out as a seller, and reduce your price, you open up these kind of things. Now, once it gets to concessions, the programs vary. I wouldn't say a lot. They have kind of some common themes and threads, but it does vary whether it's conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, non-QM. There's a lot of nuance out there. So just conventional loans, that's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. That's kind of like the big ones. They range from 2% all the way to 9%. So like, for example, if you're putting between 10 and 25% down, you can get a 6% concession. If you go less than 10%, you're at 3. If it's an investment property, it's 2. So these numbers vary based on what you're trying to do. And you need to understand, it feels really bad to ask for a 6% concession and then find out you couldn't get one. And there's money left on the table, or maybe you asked for a concession that was significantly larger than what you actually needed. So conventional, anywhere from 2 to 9%. FHA, you've got a 6% concession. This is often what they use in those down payment assistance programs. It's part of the concession. USDA, also 6%. And inside of these, they can be used for different things. You can use it to buy your FHA funding fee. You can do different things, or your MIP. VA loans, here's one that's a little bit different. They're at 4%, but the 4% can even cover things like you could cover a portion of your VA funding fee, so you can actually split it up. You can also use it to pay off debt. So you could pay off a credit card with a seller concession inside of that 4% on a VA loan. Super cool. VA only does that. Super cool loan for a lot of reasons, but that's another one. As you get over into your non-QM stuff, they will vary based on some places offer them, some don't. This is for like DSCR loans, bank statement loans. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of nuance between the programs. A couple of just pro tips. I've seen this happen a lot of times where seller concessions have been asked for that were more than were eligible for the program that they did. It was just poor communication. And then you're like kind of cleaning up shit sandwiches later on. That's no fun. You want to make sure you head in very clear. Also be specific on your contract. Break it down to the exact dollar amount, because if you're over, you just lose it. So if you are doing a 2-1 buy down or something like that, that you spell out the numbers exactly. So before you make that offer, you know exactly what you want, and break it out. What does it cover? Don't just say a 3% closing cost, prepaids, escrows, and whatever that may be. Specify what you would want broken down. So for the most part, seller concessions are an awesome tool to help you get into a home, save more money, get a lower payment. It's a great thing. And like I said, 44% of people are doing it across the country right now. So it makes a lot of sense. But just head into it and understand before you make the offer is the time to figure out what this is. A lot of lenders will not allow you to come back in if you have a higher appraisal and renegotiate a higher sales price to add a concession. So head into it that way. Remember, from a psychology standpoint, your sellers, they want to hear that they're getting a full price offer. So a lot of really good reasons why a seller concession might make sense. And if you aren't talking to your lender about it and they just say a seller concession and they don't give you any nuance between the programs, might be a red flag that either they just don't understand it, they don't care that much about you, but you want to make sure that before you make an offer, you are lining up the concession that works best for you, the dollar amount, how it's going to benefit you, the goals, and you understand going into it because each one of these little pieces matter. So the concession matters, the interest rate matters, the payment matters, it all matters. And at the end of the day, seller concessions are a fantastic tool to help you. You got more things like this, hit us up at Ask the Loan Guy. Anything on here. If you don't have a lender you trust, reach out. We'd love to help you as well. But seller concessions is a tool that should be in your toolbox. Thank you.